On BBC Radio Suffolk, 20 past 11, Monday morning. I'm Sarah Lilly. Now, Sub-Tract is the name of a new exhibition which opens today at the Fisher Theatre in Bungay. It displays the work of the eye-based artist Colin Latter, who has very strong roots in the punk movement of the 70s and 80s. We thought it would be right up Darren Rosier's street, so we've sent him there to take a look. Morning, Darren.
Good morning, Sarah. Yes, you've got me right there. I've been having some fun listening to some of John Peel's old programmes from the late 70s with the punk music. There's a very interesting mix of songs there. And I've just come into the side door of the Fisher Theatre, up the spiral stairs, and the exhibition more or less starts straight away as soon as you come to the top of the stairs. There's an interpretation board here which is lit up, which says Colin Latter, Sub-Tract, 23rd of September to the 9th of November. So today is the first day. These are all recent paintings by Colin Latter, who's from just across the way here from Bungay. Everyday objects of his home and studio is what forms the subject matter of these paintings. It's things like old armchairs, tubes of paint even, 60s Dansette record players. I could have hours of fun with those. Transistor radios as well. Whenever I'm out and about and see old radios, I'm always right there looking at all of the country names on the dial and all of that. I'm a real anorak when it comes to things like that. Other things include antique lamps, old mugs. This first painting just on my right here, just as you go on the corridor of paintings which leads to the main exhibition, we've got an old-style telephone in bright orange. The one thing you notice about these paintings is the colours sort of stand right out at you. There's no sense really of dulling off those colours at all, or trying to make areas of the painting look dark. It's all very bright. You've got an old Pi radio stroke record player there, typewriters, an old scooter, and as I make my way through here into the main exhibition hall, we can see some of those tubes of paint that I was talking about that were used, presumably to paint cars or also do watercolours, oil paintings, and at the back there's even some that I believe that is written in Ukrainian. There's certainly Cyrillic characters on there, so a real wide range of different types of pictures here. There's even what looks like an oil lamp there with the red bit on the top of it. The person responsible for all of these is Colin Latter, and he joins me now. Colin, these must have taken you years to do.
It's probably mainly from this year. I'm quite busy with it all, and and some from last year. So I'd say it's a good year's work. So certainly leading up to this exhibition, when Emma contacted me the beginning of the year, I put on my hat that this is where they're going, So yeah.
How long would one of these paintings take you to do?
I can't tell you that, can I? That's really important. No, but I have to speak to my agent about that. They can take. They're done in many sessions, so it's not necessarily a few hours and then finished. The way I'm doing a lot of them now are in various processes. So they run into hours and days, but that's usually spread out over a week. So.
And what was your inspiration to be a painter? I understand there's a family connection.
Yeah, my dad, amateur painter really. He died when I was quite young, so he didn't paint while I was when I was a boy, but he had painted before he got married, so in the 50s, and he'd gone over to Lyon over in France, and came back and said to his sister that he was going to be a painter, and so he bought a few painting books, which I've got about 20 of his paintings, a lot of landscapes, still life, and one portrait of a lady before my mum, and nobody knows who she is. So I don't think it's from a book. I think it's somebody knows. It's my favourite one. It's lovely.
A piece of mystery. It sort of feeds into it, really, doesn't it? And you've got a background in music as well. You've played in punk bands in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, it's sort of like 78 onwards. I was 16, and definitely from 77 got into the punk. Was right up my street. Loved it, and got a band together. Started off just rehearsing in a friend's bedroom. We all slowly got instruments, played gigs locally, and then ended up playing all around the country, setting up a couple of record labels. Even played at funny things like Stonehenge Festival 2 or 3 times. So a bit of everything. So.
What drew you to the punk movement and punk music?
I had my dad died, my mum remarried, and it was not a good marriage, not a good choice. So I kind of grew up through all my younger age and teens with if I can say bastard, but there we are, whatever, no, okay, you can't, sorry, but not a nice person. And I'm sure when something like punk comes along, you just think that's my family. They're the people that I want to be involved with. So it just flicks a switch in certain people, and for me it did. Yeah. Sorry about that word.
And the bands that you were playing with, is it Bjork and Chumbawamba? These were quite big, well-known acts, weren't they, back in the day?
They weren't necessarily at the time, because we organised a tour in 1984. Bjork came over with her band, which was K-U-K-L, which became Sugar Cubes, were quite well known, but they hadn't really had a record out, and Chumbawamba hadn't had a record out, and so we went on tour with them supporting us, our band, Flux of Pink Indians, and it's only then a year or two after that they became more well known, and we sort of drifted off and called it a day, and they carried on and became very well known.
The support acts ended up supplanting you.
Yeah, that's okay. I think that's great. I like that.
How did you end up doing the exhibition here?
I knew about the venue. I love Bungay. It's definitely my favourite place. And Emma contacted me, who curates here, and said that she'd seen my work on Instagram and whether I'd be interested in an exhibition. I think that was late January. It was going to be later in the year, so I knew I'd have 6 months to prepare. I mean, obviously, some paintings have gone elsewhere, but there were, each time I'm doing a painting, I kept thinking this is where it'll be going. And I've been to a few of the events. Vinnie Nylon had a great exhibition here in Teddy Salad, so people I'd followed already on Instagram and knew. So, yeah, I knew it was a great venue. Great.
And why have you decided to choose sort of general day-to-day items, electrical items, and paint tubes? So why did you choose those as subject matters?
I wonder whether the paint tubes might be that because it's something I inherited from my dad. So and they're in the studio, and I tried using a lot of old tubes, so that they're there. A painter always paints what's next to him, doesn't he or she? And I think I love mid-century design. I think the idea of when it was done, that this was futuristic. And it's as if now we are 50, 60, 70 years later, that still looks futuristic more than what the things we make now. And also, maybe not typewriters, but record players and things. I just think they're making a bit of they're making a comeback.
And with a lot of what we listen to and look at now, it's all on screens and on devices that we put in our pockets. We've almost lost some of that. What's the word that I'm looking for? The passion, the design, the difference in the technology.
You don't need the design anymore. Things have got smaller. Where a television, a Ferguson 28-inch used to be more wood than a telly. Now it's just a screen. I'm wondering what's next. I mean, I'm not sure where you can go now after just a screen. But also as well, it's just a coincidence, but you could almost put all of the objects on a phone. On a mobile phone now. So all of these things, in theory, are obsolete, although some of us still like to use them. Typewriter, record players, still being used, calculator, but you could use them all on the phone if you wanted. So, but that's not something I've done on purpose, but it's just something in my mind that everything is on our phone these days. I'm not knocking it, it's a useful bit of kit, but...
I hark back to our past. Just quickly, Emma Thompson, who's the volunteer curator here at the exhibition. I mean, it must just really hearten you to look at this. It's just fantastic, isn't it?
It's absolutely fantastic, and it's perfect for this beautiful gallery, Fisher Gallery, and for Bungay, which is a funky, strange, eccentric little place. And we've got 2 other amazing art galleries, Bell Gallery and Molina, and we're just trying to promote local, contemporary, bright art, and Colin seemed to perfect fit.
And it all just fits together perfectly, just as you say. So the exhibition starts today, goes on till November?
November the 9th, yeah. And then we've got one more exhibition this year, a print show that goes on from mid-November to Christmas.
Is there some more information on your website?
There is Fisher_Theatre Gallery. Fisher Gallery.
If you Google Fisher Theatre Gallery.
We're upstairs above the theatre, so the wonderful little theatre downstairs, and the gallery is this beautiful top-lit room above the theatre.
The bit on the top. Thank you so much, Emma Thompson and Colin Latter. Really fascinating chat with you as well. From the Fisher Theatre here in eccentric Bungay. Sarah, it's back to you.
Thank you very much. That was Darren Rosier live at the Fisher Theatre in Bungay, and Sub-Tract is on there until the 9th of November. So plenty of time to go and see that. And also, apologies if you were offended by any of the language in that report. It's just after 11:30. Let's get the latest on the roads. Here's Johnny.
Thanks, Sarah.